soup? Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I am Morrow, your storyteller for today, and with me I have some more RPG horror stories. Using the initial Morrow doodle, I decided I would use that as like the base to try to practice on some details and stuff. Here's some of the characters from our Final Fantasy D&D campaign. I hope you like them, and I hope you think they're kind of cute. I don't know if I showed these or not, but I'm thinking of making some videos on them and just the entire campaign in general. More for that coming soon, but let's get some RPG horror stories for today in the meantime. 2 years in a V5 game that slowly turned into a clique with one group controlling everything. One group controlling everything. Where have I heard that before? Oh yeah, my RPG horror story, where one particular group basically called the shots and did everything specifically. They were the one clique that could do anything and everything they want and affected the great world in a big old grand scheme of things, which is really lame. I hate that. Anyway, let's get to the story. I've been playing this V5. I'm assuming they're talking about Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition Discord game since 2023. Started as a small sandbox city game. Not a formal coterie, just characters interacting in a shared setting, usually 6 to 8 players max. There were 2 cities run by overlapping storytellers. I'll call the main storyteller one of the first city, Grill, his partner, Curl, and the close friend Foxy were assistant storytellers. Later, another player, Cat, ran the second city, while Grill stepped down there to be just a PC. We'll call this whole group the Cookout group. That's when things started to shift. Our group is pretty sex positive. Since V5 Raw, vampires can't really have sex meaningfully, a homebrew was introduced. Under ley lines, vampires could feel human again, including sexually. Interesting. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a sex-positive group. If that's your group, that's your vibe, that's completely fine. Do whatever you want in your games. If somebody's running a Succulandia game, let me know. I'll gladly join. I'll bring the whips and the chains and everything else you want me to. At first, it was flavor, but access to ley lines was limited. In the first city, the lines were tied to an SCP, Storyteller PC, the VTM equivalent to an NPC, romantically evolved with Cat's PC. The location became central. Later, the Anarch faction arrived and had access to the same magic. Eventually, certain characters were quietly restricted from going. I didn't mind because I wasn't trying to focus on that aspect. But my PC suddenly became the only one outside of the Anarchs for story reasons he could not move sides just yet, but that feeling of isolation began there. When you moved focus of the second city, only one PC had access to the ley lines. Grill's PC. Then it was revealed that the ley lines granted clan-specific mechanical benefits. Venture could store energy like a battery, to use it anywhere. Tremere got enhanced magic. Bruja were calmer. Everything is all nice and dandy. Nothing game-breaking. But suddenly, Ministry could feed through sex and reach Hunger Zero. In V5, for those who don't know Vampire the Masquerade and V5, Hunger Zero is normally achieved by killing someone. Maintaining it is supposed to be rare and difficult, but Ministry PCs could effectively reset hunger repeatedly with no meaningful cost. I guess you're paying the price with, well, fluids, I guess we could say, with fluids. The price is paid not in blood, but in fluids. Let's continue. Also, if they're not sucking blood, but sucking something else, then are they vampires or succubi? I think they're more succubi than they are vampires. Is there a vampire, like, archetype in Vampire the Masquerade that's more of a succubus than a vampire? Like, full fiendish, like, attire, like the devil wings, devil tail, succubus horns and stuff, you know, that whole thing. But like as a vampire, oh, that'd be kind of hot. Anyway, hold on, sorry. Let me get my fantasies out of the way. Let's continue. The imbalance wasn't theoretical. It translated directly into power and control. Over time, I noticed another pattern. The Cookout group could declare actions and the storyteller would say, "That makes sense, no need to roll." When I wanted to do something, I often had to argue just for a chance to roll. Example, my new PC had 5 intelligence, 5 academics, and a PhD in astrophysics. I was not allowed to roll to determine if they knew what a normal human heart rate is. Even if it's basic elementary school knowledge, an intelligence 5 is often described as photographic memory. Can't determine what a regular normal human heart rate is? You don't need 5 intelligence or PhD. I can Google that stuff and find some sort of information. Albeit as auto, like AI generated and stuff, but still some sort of information I can go into. I could go to Twitter and be like, Grok, is this true? Just kidding. But still, it seems a little bit strange that somebody with a PhD can't look up and find information about the regular human heart rate. I feel like it's something I learned in kindergarten about how to be able to like read a heart rate and stuff, be able to read someone's pulse. No, I learned it in not even kindergarten, I learned it in Boy Scouts. Dude, I was like a little Russian lad in like kindergarten, or Russian version of kindergarten, which is basically just like youth gulag. And I was learning how to read like pulses and stuff right then and there. We had like a summer, like little pioneers camp, a little bit of old school communism kind of thing. But basically it was like a little summer camp, and we learned a lot like how to like put on bandages and like read pulses and stuff. Somebody with PhD that can't read like a regular human pulse and know what a regular human heart rate is supposed to be is a bit of a concern, honestly. In another case, Ebanu Hakim power was used on me to increase hunger. The rules explicitly allow noticing if it's the vampire is in line of sight, which the powers requires, or they're obfuscated. Vampire powers still not be seen. The character was not obfuscated. I was denied a role. Meanwhile, other players frequently bypassed roles entirely. I had 6 PCs die in his chronicles. The favorite player have had none. When Grill became a player in a second city, he felt like he had the most influence. We had multiple SCPs that functionally operated like personal PCs, that full character sheets, roll +10 dice pulls consistently, were deeply embedded in plots. XP pauses were placed on some of his other PCs when he wanted to try something new. Despite technically being just a player, he often controlled access to major resources, including the ley lines. Felt less like one PC in a sandbox and more like someone running 8 PCs through different masks. Now for auto character escalation issues, the social aspect is what finally broke it. I invited 2 of my best friends, which I did more as a way to find a reason to stay, we'll call them Top and AD Carry, ADC, into the game because I thought they fit the tone. By top, you mean like League of Legends kind of thing? You mean like the top in the bedroom kind of thing? What does ADC stands for in the bedroom? Dynamic Crumping. Maybe, I don't know. Behind the scenes though, privately told it wasn't a good idea to tie their PCs to mine because I was not a good player. This was after I had directly asked Gil if I was a problem player on plainly a bad player. He told me I was great, just had bad luck with dice. Learning that a different narrative was being told about me privately was devastating. But it got worse. I'd chosen a face claim for a character. Kat said the actress looked too young despite the actress being older than me. I'm 30. My friend later told me that there were conversations in a core group implying I might be a PDF file because of the face claim choice. What is... Okay, I gotta look up what a face claim is, because if we're throwing in some PDF file allegations now, I'm curious. Face claim. I'm curious now. Let's see what that is. A face claim, or face claim, that's the same word, thanks Google, is a real-life person, typically a celebrity, actor, model, or influencer used to represent the visual appearance of a player's character. Oh, it's the character portrait. Why are you using face claim? Just character portrait would have been easier. I guess Vampire the Masquerade just got to be extra with the extra terminology. Not saying it's like a bad way or anything, but face claim is a really strange way to just say face portrait or whatever. I don't know. PFP. So basically, because you're using somebody that looks younger in the picture, that means that you're supposedly supposed to be like a PDF file, which is kind of a stretch to accuse that of, yeah? If not using actual children pictures into your thing, then it's completely fine. And people that are older can look younger. I'm not sure if you ever seen some Asian moms, but I've had friends with Asian moms that actually look like they're still in their 20s, even though they were deep in their 40s. It's crazy. Asian moms don't age like regular people do. It's a miracle of whatever kind of magic. Either way, really strange way for your friend group to start calling you a PDF file and spreading rumors about you being a PDF file because of the portrait that you chose for your character. That is, I mean, I can't see anybody in my friend group doing that. That just sounds so unhinged. Just sounds weird. Who's spreading these kind of rumors? Who hates you so much that they're spreading these kind of rumors against you? Meanwhile, Grill himself uses a face claim that was a 23-year-old woman with no issue. I changed the face claim to avoid drama, but the damage was done. And this is not even the last bad thing. There was a private voice channel for a core group. I was the only long-term active player excluded from it, and after other players left, I was the only one not on it full stop. Only found out because my friend had access and told me. That's when it stopped feeling like an in-character stuff and started feeling like a real-world exclusion. That was the breaking point for me. Top eventually left the group. From what I understand, it was because of what was being said and enabled behind the scenes by the cookout group. ADC is now considering leaving as well as seeing how the dynamics operate. Even if she's having fun being knowingly taken advantage of being part of the Cucks group. Top and I told her to enjoy being pampered, which she had done nothing wrong. But she's getting uncomfortable with how much enabling there's going on with Grill and Cucks group. At this point, I'm likely leaving too. Just waiting for an excuse, which will trigger with ADC leaving. Final question. When does it stop being table variance and start being structural favoritism? And if you were in a situation earlier, what would you have done differently? This is 100% favoritism. No matter how you want to call it, variance, whatever, this is favoritism. They have a clique that is being prioritized, and the clique is allowed to do whatever they want, but God forbid you want to do something, you can't be included in on it. You can't do the roles. You're not allowed to do the things that the main clique group can do. The main cast of the group, the main protagonist, the DM, GM, storyteller's favorite group, the #1 main character's bestest evers. Instead of people being able to contribute in some fair way or some collaborative way, instead it's just, oh, the main group can do whatever they want and they can have 8 billion main character PCs everywhere, but God forbid you need to go and do a role to try to see if somebody's trying to do something to a character, and then you can't because the character is not obfuscated. What I'm noticing here is that there's just a lot of favoritism and a lot of unfair treatment going on. You're not being treated well, Top is not being treated well, but ADC for whatever reason is allowed to join the cool people group. She's allowed to join the Breakfast Club basically, which I don't think the context of Breakfast Club is good, but just carry on with me. They're allowed to join the Breakfast Club group and allowed to do whatever they want and enjoy being pampered. But honestly, I think that if all three of you dislike it, and clearly looks like ADC even dislikes it, y'all should just drop out and leave and find a different group to play with, because if it's not fun for any of you, if you're not having a good time, just leave, get on out, join a different group and start your own stuff instead. There's no point in staying in a game where you're just not going to be playing fairly. That's what happened to me, that's what happened to my friends, and we decided just to dip on out because sometimes things just get way too much. Sometimes you gotta find a way just to exit out and leave, and instead do your own thing or start something yourself. Simple as that. You could sit around and try to see if you can argue with the storytellers in there to try to make it more equal and more interaction and stuff, but if it's this deep in and it's so clicky, I don't think it's changing. Something drastic would have to happen. People would have to just drop the game entirely for something to change, but I think unless something drastic happens, nothing is gonna change. Your best bet is just to save your time, patience, and find a different game altogether. Alright, well, I mean, that's my thoughts. If you have anything else specific you want to add in comments, you're more than welcome to. I'm gonna get to the next story for today. I accidentally cucked one of my player characters. This is my first post here, so go easy on me, but I'm pretty sure I'm the problem in the situation. At the very least, I'm the DM that egged it on. For close to 6 months now, I've been running Tomb of Annihilation for a group I met at my local game store. I would describe the group as plucky and fun first with a great deal of good-natured roasting. One of the players, a Dragonborn Warlock, had a penchant for hitting on any potentially attractive female NPCs. Very original, but not actually a problem. The party chose to recruit just such an NPC as a guide for the expedition, attractive and competent, with a bit of a superiority complex. The guide responded coldly to the Warlock's advances, but he persisted. Surely pulling him out of the danger constantly means she cared. She couldn't possibly be leading him on. He saw his chance to prove himself to her when the secret came out that she was a were-tiger. He would cure her curses, and then she would love him. To give them an opportunity, this is like a I can fix them moment. You know what? I'm tired of trying to fix them. I don't want to get worse. I want Mary to get worse. Mary, I don't want to fix your antisocial behavior. I want you to get worse. I want you to be even more antisocial and be more surrounded by animals. I don't know why I put up Mary here. It really could be anybody. To give them an opportunity to cure the curses, a sage they knew and they had ties to, guide, presented them with a solution. He could create a tincture that she could take under the full moon, and then with the willing participation of the lycanthrope who turned her, a ritual could be performed to reverse the curse. The ritual involving some level of bodily entanglement. The other players had long been making jokes about the relationship, everything from whipped to furry. Now, Cuck had been added to the list as a joke, right? I hope as a joke, right? Because at some point, jokes are jokes, but I've met some people just in online communities that you start a joke and then they take it too far, right? You start to be like, I guess I'm dummy, I guess I'm dumb, and somebody just chimes in like, yeah, Morrow, you stupid idiot, you stupid moron, how unintelligent you are. Just go like plane traffic or something, just get hit by a car, you're so stupid. This is me paraphrasing and stuff, but some people take jokes and comedy and everything way too far, and they try to like chive in towards things unnecessarily too much. Like one experience that I had where I'm just like hanging out with a bunch of friends on VR chat, and I'm just trying to make a joke, like, you know how like in D&D you have like different like alignments and stuff, chaotic neutral, chaotic good. I would describe myself as chaotic lewd, you know, just trying to get some people just some laughs, like ha 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 ha. And this one guy comes in here basically be like, oh, so you're a psychopath? What? Yeah, you're a psychopath. If you're a chaotic lewd, then you're a psychopath and you belong in a ward because you're psycho. I was just trying to make a joke, man. Why are you going at me so hard? Some people literally have no idea and no chill and don't know when enough is enough. There is a certain point where sometimes it goes beyond jokes and becomes actually obnoxious. And this might be one of those moments, potentially. Also, to describe the ritual as a bodily entanglement, I mean, if they're gonna be fucking, you better just say, you guys are gonna have to fuck here specifically. Because this is a way to describe it. I don't think this is something I would recommend. I don't think the first ritual the first option you should give is like, you have to pork the NPC in order to save them from the curse. I don't think that was the first thing you should be jumping onto unless you guys are playing that kind of a game. At this point, I felt maybe I twisted the knife a bit too much. I was on the fence about the nature of the ritual, but you're not on the fence. You suggested the bodily entanglement in the first place. There is no on the fence. You laid it out there in front of them. You just unzip that thing, just laid it out on the table, and everybody had to just be like, okay, I guess it's happening now. You made a choice, DM. This is the consequence of your choice that you made. You laid out the idea for them. You can't say you're on the fence. You can't have it both ways. You're either on the fence or you don't do it, or you do it because you decided to do it. But I wanted to have the dramatic stakes. You know, give the warlock a tough choice to prove his commitment. Is curing this woman's curse important enough for him to let her sleep with another man? To add an extra tangle in the drama, the guy that would need to find happened to effectively be her ex from when she was a teenager. It went further off the rails from there, and here's where I really felt like I may have taken it too far. As the warlock beseeched his patron to show him where exactly to find this guy, he offered anything in return. He would even stop drinking, but his fiendish patron wanted to find the most malicious, sadistic price for him to pay. Said he could keep drinking, he just had to watch the ritual take place. The player took it in stride and everyone else is just joking about it per usual, but I feel weird about it still. Am I just not cut out for writing dramatic plot lines? DM, this dramatic plotline this ain't, bud. Dramatic plotline this ain't. This is not drama. This is literally forcing somebody to sit in a cuck chair to be a little cucky for everybody. That's what this is. This isn't dramatic in the slightest. Nothing about this is dramatic. It's just cuck voyeurism. That's all it is. You know what it comes off as? It comes off as you're not trying to put in some sort of like drama. You're trying to put in some sort of a weird fetish of yours. That's what it really comes off at. I'm trying to just being honest. It comes off as if this is your kink. You just want to force this kink onto another player. This is a bad move. You should have rethought something else, or hey, maybe potentially ask the player about it in the first place. Be like, listen, I'm workshopping an idea. How about your character be a cuck? No? Okay, my bad. Let me rewrite it then. You know, workshop these sort of ideas beforehand. Maybe not with your players, but at least with somebody else out there, just to ask him, hey, is this a good idea? Would this be dramatic to sit the player character into a cuck chair and force him to watch it? Would this be juicy drama? Because juicy drama this ain't. This just comes off as your weird fetish that you want to force on a player. I'll be honest, this comes off weird. If you felt weird about it, why did you run this? If you genuinely felt weird about this throughout the whole thing and you're on the fence about it, if you're truly on the fence, you wouldn't have run it. You genuinely wouldn't have run it because you probably wouldn't be so sure about it, or maybe decide to go with more of a safer option. But I feel like you were in on the joke, you're in on the laughs and stuff, and you're caught up with everything. I don't know if you meant it like positively or not, but yes, in a sense, you are the problem. I feel like if anything, I do appreciate your candor and talking about, you know, you being potentially a problem. I do think you're a problem, and I'd highly recommend rethinking about putting somebody into a cuck chair to make things dramatic, because drama this ain't. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thank you so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales Tomorrow. Bye-bye.